All right, great evening, everybody. We'll get started in just a moment. All right, happy Tuesday, Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. Great evening. We're going to get this started in just a moment. We are talking food addiction on tonight. All right. So we're going to have an incredible conversation on this evening. You're not going to want to miss this. All right. If you want to know why the struggle is so real, you got to hear this on tonight. All right. So great evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. So everybody out there. Go ahead, take the time to tag, take the time to share, take the time to tell somebody that we are live. Check us out, healthydrivenlife.com. That is where we're at this evening. All right, so great evening to each and every one of you. All right, so happy Thursday to all of you.
Get to turbocharge your weight loss journey with the Move and Lose Challenge. With our simplest plan ever, all you need to do is wake up, hydrate, and move. Kickstart your day in just 1 minute with easy exercises like jumping jacks and arm circles. All you have to do is simply roll out of bed and move your body for 5 minutes. Boost your fat-burning power with Noni, an advantage along with a quick daily 10-minute move session. No equipment, no gym, no excuses. Anyone can do this and watch the weight drop. Take a walk, jog, or run, or perhaps you like to dance, put on your favorite tunes and move. No equipment, no gym, no excuses. Anyone can do this and watch the weight drop. It's simple. Join us on Thursday, April 10th at 9 p.m. EST, 6 p.m. PST for an exciting and engaging kickoff. Here's a bonus. Register today and you'll receive a 15% off special link from the person who invited you right after attending our live event. Your future is calling you. Don't miss this fun, life-changing kickoff as we discuss powerful topics and launch the plan. Your health is your greatest wealth. Register now.
All right. So great evening to each and every one of you out there. I want to say hello. We want to say all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast, everything in between and all around the world. That was our video as we launched this phenomenal movement on last week. All right, a week ago, we said it's time to move it and lose it. And so we're back for another conversation. You know, last week we dropped some incredible nuggets just on health as a whole, and we covered a lot of different topics. So what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is really breaking down these topics on this evening and over the next few weeks, just simply because we want to dive a little bit deeper into them and really be able to help people all over the world with their health goals. We realize that there's a lot of people out there that are struggling with weight loss. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling in their health, and it's a health epidemic. And we talked about that on last week. And so we're here for another incredible conversation on tonight. And just a brief background, it's a simple concept where we are challenging everyone around the world to move it and lose it, right? And we are coupling it together with some phenomenal products. We got 2 products that we're going to share with you on tonight. But our mission is to really impact lives and to encourage you to get up every single day and to move, right? Can you wake up and really roll out of bed, right? All of us rolled out of bed today and do bend your body, right? But first you want to grab like 8 ounces, 8 to 16 ounces of water, but 8 ounces of water, right? Then the next thing, we want you to bend your body, do 20 squats. Even if you can't get all the way down, bend your body. Go do everything else. Brush your teeth. Come downstairs. When you do that, then we want you to do 25 simple jumping jacks. Take your Noni and advantage, but the key is to not putting any food into your body until 10 a.m., right? And at 10 a.m., you can eat healthy, right? Eat better, I won't say anything that you want, but eat better all the way up until 8 p.m., where nothing else goes into your body after 8 p.m. And throughout your day, take a walk, right? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, move your body, right? So it is truly the 8, 20, 25, 10 to 8 system that we are doing, in which we are really excited about moving our bodies, right, babe?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sorry, I was trying to find something because yeah, now that all the particulars are out of the way, now you guys know what to do,
All right.
how to do it, when to do it, where to do it. Now it's a matter of will you.
Right.
So, and I think that's always the question that we have to ask ourselves. Are we ready to engage right now? Because some people listening to this, you guys still aren't ready to engage and actually do something, right? Bobby said something last week that was interesting. He said, Bobby, what was you said about having an emotional event? What was it?
It was called a C moment, significant emotional event.
Significant emotional event, guys. So, are you having a significant emotional event? Have you had one? Will you have one? And or will this be the day that you actually have a C moment? We're not gonna assume that you guys have heard this conversation before. Last week we kicked it off and we talked about
a lot of different things. Yeah.
This week we're gonna drill down on food addictions, and we got some amazing people here with us, along with ourselves, the amazing Miss Pam McCray. We got Bobby and Trayla down in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know why I go start talking about where people from, because I always forget. But I did remember that part. We got, hold on, tap into. We got Franshawn. We got, and I just had some too. We got Franshawn Hutchinson down there in Virginia, right?
What city?
Anyway, in Virginia.
Newport News. No, because that's
your memory better than mine.
Well, you know why?
I'm trying to show off.
As a child, I spent a lot of summers in Newport News. So that city means a lot to me, because my uncle, my favorite uncle on my mom's side, Uncle Benny the baby brother, my grandma used to literally put me on a bus, and we would take a bus from New Jersey to Newport News all the time. And I remember being on the bus with her with the bread and the chickens that she would fry up.
I'm married to you for 35 years and I don't know that.
Yeah, and I mean, those were my memories. Like, I would spend all summer down there with Uncle Benny and Grandma. And yeah, so those are some great memories for me. So Newport News is a city that I'll never forget. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and we got Miss Valerie Stewart. Where's she from? Because I sure don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to write. She's
from ATL.
From ATL. Right. You claim Atlanta? That's okay, Atlanta. All right. Then I promise y'all next time, I'll actually know where you guys from. Hopefully, this panel will actually expand as we move. So let's start with Valerie. Valerie, give about 60 seconds, and let's go around the room and tell a little bit about yourself and what you hope to gain from being on this panel.
Well, good evening, everyone. So for me, I just hope to gain like the tools and the knowledge to take that and move forward in my life, to not be a slave to anything else, but to learn the tools and put them into action. So that's why I'm excited to be on this panel.
All right, Ms. Franshawn Hutchinson.
Great evening, everyone. I am excited to be on this panel because it's helping me to be more consistent, incorporate some healthier habits and things, of course, growing in knowledge, and just being the best me that I can be, especially on this road to 62.
The road to 62. All right. Miss Trayla Lattimore.
Hey y'all, I'm excited to be here. But just to really learn, I am a registered nurse by career. And so actually diving into a lot of the things that we are talking about and that we are learning about, it's very resourceful. And so just learning, when you know better, you do better. And so knowing better, I am excited to be doing better. Our health is our greatest wealth. And so for me, it is just really, like Franchon said, becoming the best version of you that you can be. So that's my excitement. Okay.
All right, Mr. Bobby P.
All right. Well, I'm excited to be on this panel, learning because there's a plethora of knowledge between us. And also, too, in this journey, learning how to master and control this. This right here is the tool of either destruction or life. And so my goal as far as just being on this panel is just continuing to learn the tools and everything that I need, and maybe perhaps help somebody else, have the attitude of, you eat to live instead of live to eat.
Right.
I love it.
Absolutely.
The power of the fork. Or the spoon for some of y'all, the knife, all of those utensils that we use, or the power of the hand. We like to say the hand to mouth, right? And we like to pride ourselves on this panel, on this this conversation. We're gonna be real. Everybody struggles. We struggle every single day. Nobody on this panel is perfect. Nobody has all the answers. We work as a team and we try and get better every single day. Each person that you see on this panel is going to get better every day. Mentally, they're going to get better physically, and they're going to get better financially, right? Hopefully you guys will follow suit and you'll jump in and you'll put pressure on yourselves as well to try to get better. It is really all about, right?
It is.
It's about not waiting for someone else or an outside influence to come in and put pressure on you to do something. Now, not everybody is a self-starter like that. Some people need to be nudged. Some people need to be pushed. Some people flat out need to be ran over before they actually want to do something, right? But what does being ran over mean? So let's talk about those three. Nudged is, I noticed something going on in my life and I need to fix it, right? The push is, things are starting to change physically and you're starting to notice significant changes in your life. The run over is when you go to the doctor finally and the doctor tells you that you have to do something.
Yeah.
You fit in one of those three categories. So wherever you fit in, go ahead and get in right there. I don't know where you are. We don't want to assume anything on here, but I heard something this morning or yesterday. The guy, I thought it was pretty cool. The guy said, and I want to make sure if I get this right before we dive into all this information. He said his mama told him he only had two things to worry about in life, whether you're healthy or whether you're sick. Right? If you're healthy, you don't got nothing to worry about. If you're sick, you got two things that you got to worry about in life. Whether you're going to get better or whether you're going to stay sick or get worse, right? If you're going to get better, you have nothing to worry about. If you're going to get worse, you got two things that you got to worry about in life, right? Whether you're going to live or whether you're going to die. If you're going to live, you got nothing to worry about. If you're going to die, you got two things that you got to worry about in life. Whether you're going to heaven or whether you're going to hell. Two things. But if you're going to hell, in heaven, you got nothing to worry about. If you're going to hell, then you got two things that you got to worry about in life. Whether you want crispy or extra crispy.
That's what somebody said today.
Yes, I got it right. So I thought it was pretty cool. But it goes back to us really understanding that we have one life to live. And all bets are off as soon as we go to the doctor and the doctor tells us then we have that something's wrong and we have that C moment. And now we're reactionary and we have to do something.
Right.
Some of y'all fit into that category. If you're listening to this live or if you're listening to this later, you fit into that category, into one of those categories, right? But some of y'all fit into the category that says, I'm here, I'm being proactive, and I'm getting whatever I think is wrong with me, I'm getting it fixed, because I know I don't feel right. Something's off in my body. I'm looking in the mirror. The scale won't always tell you if something's off in your body. So we fall in one of those categories. The significant thing is, or the operative thing is, to see exactly what you're gonna do and at what juncture in your life are you gonna do it.
No, that's good. That's really, really good. And you know, as we get into this and really talking about the food addiction and everybody adding some value on here tonight, we have to really ask ourselves what's really going on, right? When it comes time to the health epidemic and obesity being on the rise, because things began to shift. And it really goes back to the foods that we are eating. You know, I was watching this video the other day, and it talked about how the change really began to happen in the 1970s, because prior to the 1970s, the world was not dealing with obesity, right? You know, back in the 1950s and everything, obesity was like at 1%. You know, now we're at like 75%, and people being overweight and obese. So what changed? It was the food. And it's not just the foods, just the foods, but the types of foods that we are putting into our body. And they are it really goes back to people consuming more ultra processed foods, right? So I learned that, right? I knew about processed foods, but there's ultra processed foods out there. And these ultra processed foods are really the ones they're linked to chronic diseases. They're linked to depression. They're linked to dementia. They're linked to metabolic changes that end up occurring in our body. And this is what's going on. And so we have to realize these things so that we begin to shift our mindset and understanding that the things that we put into our body really does. And, you know, as I was listening to this video, it even went even deeper to really helping us to understand that there are foods out there. And I didn't know this. I don't know if any of you guys out there knew this, but there are foods out there that literally, as a result of them being ultra processed, right, that our taste buds, right, we like soft things, right? And so even down to the point of where there are a lot of foods out there that may appear crunchy, like potato chips, like Cheetos, like you know, different types of food, that when you put them into your mouth and you begin to eat them, they immediately soften, right? And they do this with these ultra processed foods because there's something that triggers our brains to making us feel like we're not full. So did you ever, and Nate and I, we had this Oreo addiction at one point, right? Not too long ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, we had an Oreo addiction, right? And the Oreo is hard, but when you start to eat that Oreo, not only did it go back to the fact that it had high fructose corn syrup in it, which is addictive, but when you begin to eat that cookie, it softens, right? So when it softens, it is triggering something in your brain so that now your brain is saying, I'm not full. And it's causing us to eat more food, more of this garbage that we're putting into our bodies. And I didn't know that.
Yeah, non-satiating food.
Right.
Right. So you never get that sensation of being full.
Right.
They also want you to keep shoveling more in because you can dissolve in your mouth quick and you can put more in there. Right.
Yeah. So it bypasses your body's signal to saying that you're full. So these foods that we're eating, because they're ultra processed, and just so that you know what an ultra processed food is, they use very cheap ingredients. So it's the cheapest of the cheapest of the cheapest ingredients that we're putting into our bodies. They're designed to be addictive. All right. They are designed to be addictive. That's the reason why you can't just eat one chip and put the bag away. Right. And what they're doing with even the marketing of these ultra processed products, and this could be like the frozen macaroni and cheese and all of that stuff that you just can't stop eating, is that through the marketing that they are marketing it through, now you know how you go and you can go get the big family size bag, and you know the let's share the shareables
Everything
and
is
things
big.
like that. Everything is big. Why? It's not so that you can share it. Real talk. It's because of this technology and what's happening with this food and how they're creating it, so that when you put your hand in that bag or in that box of cookies, your hand keep going back and you never even share it. You find situations like Nate and I used to do where we were hiding the Oreos from our kids, like real talk. So this is what's happening. And the only way for us to change and to shift and to understand and to now do what's necessary for our bodies is for us to be aware of what they are doing and doing with these foods.
Yeah, awareness is the key. You know, Twyla, if you talk a little bit on awareness, that'd be great. And even that first topic, you know, what healthy really means today. Today.
Right.
Yeah. So when you think about healthy, it is the person as a whole. So being aware, you got to be mentally wanting to be aware. You can be aware, but are you really ready to be aware and really ready to dive in and understand like what it is that you're eating? What are in these foods? And you said something, Coach Pam, so profound, that these ultra processed foods are linked to all of these diseases. And so when you understand and you really become aware of what you're putting in your mouth, how your health is your greatest wealth, but you are what you eat, and really understand that, and it's not just a cliche. I want everybody that's listening to this live or listening to the replay, I want you to Google type 3 diabetes. Type 3 diabetes is diabetes of the brain. And it's been linked to Alzheimer's. And it has to do with insulin resistance. And that's a whole nother conversation and a whole nother topic. But it doesn't matter if the food says healthy. It doesn't matter if it's yogurt, if it's flavored yogurt. You got to look at all these sugars in the food.
Yep.
And when you understand that sugar is addictive and it's just as addictive as cocaine, then you really will begin to understand and to become aware and to watch the foods that you eat. Because food is killing us in a sense. You wonder why so many people are on medications. You can't say you didn't know because it's out there. Education is out there.
Right.
So I think that people are aware. It is a matter of making the decision. And so when you talk about healthy, it's the person as a whole. Are you mentally ready? Are you stressed out? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? And so healthy is a whole person. And so you have to understand that it's not just about your physical health. It's about your mental health. It's about your spiritual health. It's about your emotional health. And when you get all of those things in tune, then that's when you really become healthy. Healthy today for people, they think just because they look good in some clothes that you healthy, or the doctor hasn't told you that you got high blood pressure. The doctor hasn't told you that you have high cholesterol. Right. But I can tell you, just in my profession, when you are overweight, you're causing your organs to work harder. So you're not healthy.
No, that's good. That's good. How about you, Bobby? You got something you want to add?
Well, it's actually kind of leading into the next point. And so let me give you an observation. Now that I've been in this transformation journey, now this will be my 6th year. Recently, I went back into corporate America, and I've been absent from it for about 20 years. And going back into it now, I'm noticing certain behaviors. So let me just give you a typical day. I'm in a training all day. And so what happens is, as everybody is coming into work and we coming into our room, I notice most everybody brings breakfast, or they have the cappuccino or the frappuccino. And most of everything that everyone has is sugar laden. But And this is how we start our day. So we spike in our insulin levels right off the jump.
Right.
Oh, but it gets worse. As you go downstairs and you walk, there's almost like an open commissary as to which you can go and pick up certain food items and just scan and you can pay for it. And most of the items is nothing but sugar, whether it be high fructose, whether it be sucralose, whether it be in the other 200 some odd flavors of sugar. It is found in the food choices over there on that side. And so what I notice is that as we commence class, 2 hours later, maybe not even that long, an hour later, people will leave up out of the room. They go down there, they'll go and get a soda and a bag of chips. That's hour one. Hour three, guess what we're doing? We're going back downstairs to pick up a soda, bag of chips, a muffin, and maybe even a honey roll. And this process, and we haven't even got to lunch yet.
Not the honey roll.
So here it is. This is just a behavior, and people are not recognizing what's happening. We are literally, because we are addicted to sugar, and all these bioengineered foods are designed for us to not even recognize the addiction that we're in. And so until we become not only aware, but actually act on our awareness, this vicious cycle is going to continue. And in about 10 years, we'll go from 75% of the population being obese and overweight to 95% of the population obese and overweight. So we have to make a decision to become aware, educated, and then act on the education. We got to save ourselves, because the same people that put us in prison, it's crazy to expect the same people to get us out. We have to do this, and we got to do this on our own.
Wow. And you know what? You are so right, Bob. And when you mentioned that, and you're talking about going down to the snack machine and grabbing the sodas. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, everything that these companies are doing that are pushing these horrible ultra processed foods, these sodas, this is all strategic. Okay, there is some strong marketing and strategy behind even a can of soda. You see, I just learned, like, listen to this. There is strategy and science behind a can of soda, right? The can itself, the product that it is in, because we are attracted to, when it comes time to food and the things that we drink, it's all about our senses, right? We taste it, we feel it, we touch it, right? And so even to the point, down to the point of opening that can. Think about opening a can of soda, right? That pop that it makes, and then that fizz, that is science. That is all designed to make you addictive to getting that can of soda, right? And then when you even mention, with grabbing the like the bars and the snacks, and you mentioned healthy, right? And or even like the foods that they're putting into the body, like a lot of these snacks that they're portraying as healthy. Take for instance, one, veggie straws. There's not an ounce of vegetable in those things, right? But they tie it around being healthy, right? Think about it. When a person goes and works out and they leave the gym, they want to grab a protein bar, right? That may say low in sugar, but guess what? It's really not. And I'll never forget, and then we'll keep it moving. I'll never forget when I went to the grocery store, and I never go down the juice aisle because we don't buy any juices, sodas, or anything. We drink water around here. And I remember cutting down the juice aisle, and what caught my eye was this juice by Ocean Spray, because I love cranberry juice. So when I do want some juice, if I'm out at a restaurant and I order something, sometimes it might be cranberry juice. And what caught my eye was this juice called Diet 5, right? And so I picked it up because I'm like, Diet 5, that caught my eye. And as soon as I picked it up, there was this long word, right? And I decided to Google that word. And when I Googled that word, immediately it came up that it was linked to overweight, to people being overweight and obesity in a product named Diet 5.
I got one even better. There's this shake Premier that everybody is drinking. We went to Sam's and we sat there and we Googled the names that were on the back of that ingredient list. Causes you to gain weight, linked to digestive issues, cancer. So when you really take the time to become aware and to actually look at these food labels and actually read the ingredient list and see what is in them and understanding, the percent values, what is really healthy for you, what is not healthy for you, that's in that ingredient list, then people start making better decisions on what they eat.
You are so right.
The light, the switch has to go off.
It has.
Because the honest thing is that, and then we're going to go down to Valerie. So Valerie can talk to us about emotional eating and comfort foods and how they sabotage our progress.
But we got a commercial break before Valerie.
Okay. So everything you guys are saying is real. People, here's the thing. People do have a hint about what's going on because there is no shortage of information.
Right.
You see it. You see so many things, but people won't pass it because it requires a level of accountability. And change is uncomfortable, right? But when you think about the things that they're doing to keep us from changing, convenience, putting like Bobby said, putting the machines right there where they know people are going to get them, and they don't care what they put in them because they know people are going to get them. It's convenience. It's recognizing the attack. It's the fact that obesity is really celebrated now. It really is. I saw a whole line of, it was at a football game. I think it was a whole line of they were dressed like, they weren't cheerleaders, but the dancers. They were dressed like dancers, and you had to be obese to be on this team. And it was about 30 of them that came down the steps from the top of the stadium all the way down, and everybody was obese. And everybody was, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just telling y'all how to celebrate it, right? Everybody's like, go ahead on, queen. You looking good, and this and that. I get it. I understand that you don't want to drag anybody down, but you don't want to condone behavior that is unbecoming of being healthy.
Right.
So it's like they felt like they were doing the right thing by being obese. And that's the sad part, but it's the convenience. We have to recognize the attacks. And everything that you guys are giving is recognize that what it's going back to, recognizing the attack. But when you recognize it, has the nail gotten sharp enough yet for you to actually start reading those labels and start Googling things? And then when you see something that's not right, actually no longer purchase that. But then we go back to that same old thing. Well, what am I supposed to eat then? It goes back to that. And we got an answer for you on that. So, but this quick commercial break.
Absolutely.
We'll be right
what
back.
are you supposed to eat and put into your body? We're so glad you asked.
Do you worry about getting sick? Have joint or mobility issues? Feel tired frequently? Have stress or moodiness? What if there were a product that strengthened your immune system, boosted your energy, uplifted your mood, supported your overall health? Discover the power of paradise, featuring Tahitian noni, a remarkable superfruit grown in lush French Polynesia, making it more potent than any noni in the world. Hand-picked in family-owned farms with tree-to-package traceability. A vegan formula that's packed with powerful antioxidants, adaptogens, phytonutrients, and nutrients, and free from soy, gluten, and artificial colors and flavors to naturally boost your energy, support healthy immune and cardiovascular systems, fight free radicals, promote mobility, help balance your mood, and maintain your overall wellness. Backed by clinical studies, third-party testing, decades of research, and with 170 million packages sold, people around the world have powered their health, their wellness, their lives with a sip of paradise. Will you? Tahitian Noni Original. Life powered by paradise.
Foundation. There's our foundational product. Ladies and gentlemen, we put that on everything. That's the first thing we take every day, multiple times a day, is make sure that we have the superfruits in our bodies that our bodies needs. Just to recap, we talked about last week, we talked about GLP-1s and how harmful just taking GLP-1s and the Ozempics and what's the other ones? The metformins and all of those. just taking those, yeah, you're gonna lose weight, but if you don't create a lifestyle and change some things in your life, then you're gonna come off of it the wrong way. Right. So it's bad weight loss. Right. We got another product we're gonna talk to you guys about a little bit later that completely handles that for you, all natural, what your body wants. So let's go down to the ATL, to Miss Valerie Stewart. Valerie, talk to the people about emotional eating, comfort foods, and how they sabotage your progress.
Yeah, when I think about it, I think about like when I was younger, whenever we had celebrations of things that happened, it was centered around food. Even if times of sadness, happiness, we always ate. And so I think as we get older, we keep those habits. So whether it's good or bad, we rely on eating things, and it may not be the best. So the things that I ate 30, 40 years ago is not the same food that I'm eating now. And I think that we have to realize that it is dealing a lot with our mindset. So when you know that certain things are bad for you, or you learn about these things, it's just important that you take that into consideration. We've got to stop relying on foods to make us feel good. You know, I had a bad day, so I'm gonna eat a whole bunch of ice cream, or eat something that I know that is not good for me. Think of something else, maybe take a walk, read a book, do something else to reward yourself, or do something else to celebrate. You know, it doesn't have to be centered around food, because a lot of us, we're addicted. Like we said, we're addicted to food, and we go down that path and we can't stop. You know, so I just think about, we've got to come up with good alternatives.
Absolutely. Good alternatives. Start with good, then we move to great, and then we move to phenomenal. Right? You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be phenomenal tomorrow, but you do have to start those healthy swaps. And you know what they are. You just haven't made a decision yet to do it.
Right. And you think about it, when it comes time to eating healthier and the real foods aren't addictive, right? Apples, the things that we're supposed to be putting into our body, right? Like, if you eat meat, like real chicken, these foods are not addictive. It's all of the nonsense, the ultra processed food, the garbage, like the pizza, the chocolate, the ice cream. All of these ultra processed foods are the addictive ones that people grab a hold of. And honestly, it is the food, right? It is. It's an addiction. And they continue to change it. Yes.
If somebody says something's bad, they change it to another name.
Right.
And here's a really good test. How many of y'all out there have flies in your backyard? Right? Y'all have flies. If you're in a warm climate now, you're gonna have some flies. Put what you put in your body, put some of it back on your table, and just leave it there and watch. See how many flies congregate on that food. They won't eat it because it doesn't smell natural to them. Watch, y'all gonna do it. Y'all gonna be like, oh my God, I'm putting that in my body, right? So that's
but they come for that real food.
They'll come for that real food now. Now, just because it's fruit, don't mean they gonna eat that either. Some of the fruit's not good.
Right.
So there's so many things we can talk about. But once you start your journey of caring more about what you put in your body, everything kind of opens up and things start to make sense for you. It's not gonna make sense overnight. Everything's not gonna come to you at once. But when you start, things will start to happen.
Right.
Let's flop over to Newport News, Virginia, to Miss Franshawn Hutchinson, so she can talk to us about easy swaps and practical tips for busy people, because people are busy. That's the number one excuse. The number two excuse. Number one is it's too expensive to eat healthy, right? Number two is I don't have time to eat healthy. What about those busy people, Franshawn, that are out every day going to work, and they pass in the McDonald's and the Burger Kings, and it's so easy to go through that drive-through? Talk to us about that.
It's not easy for me.
You phenomenal.
It's more expensive to eat out than it is to eat healthy and eat at home. I've always been one to prep my food, carry leftovers, eat in. You know, everybody in the rat race, if they only get 30 minutes for lunch, they're out trying to get to the fast food restaurants. Now that they have DoorDash or something, they bring it to them. But making the easy swaps, with the things that you put into your body, especially the sugary drinks. Like Bobby said, that's what people do when we're in training. You see a multitude of people running to the snack machine to get the sodas. If we could have a water dispenser in my home, I probably would, but is not conducive because my husband takes water to work. So I showed you a picture, Coach Nate, of all the water we buy, and it's like four of the 40 packs a week. We go through water.
Wow.
By prepping your meals and snacks, like carrots, apples, berries, different things, like those are the things that I carry with me when I go to training. And people are looking, I'm pulling out my little Tupperware containers, or so I'm eating my, if it's grapes or apples, I have some nuts. It's just easier for me, and I find it less expensive, and it's better for my body because I know what I'm putting in it. I don't eat out a whole lot because, if I can be a little conceited, I'm a great cook and I'm picky. I want to know what somebody, if I see somebody in the bathroom when I go to a restaurant and they don't wash their hands, I'm ready to go.
That's right.
Because I don't know what they're preparing in that kitchen. So, yeah. But it's much easier. It's much healthier. You can prepare meal prep. A lot of people do meal prep because I cook. The leftovers are what goes with me. But on the go, like I am as a realtor, I need something that's going to be quick. I can reach in my bag and grab it. If I had to eat it in between showings, it's there. I have a small cooler in my car full of water. So is beneficial for your body and for your pocket.
Absolutely. No, that's some real good information. Thank you for all of those tips. I hope everybody is taking some notes because all of us on here, and Franchon has been publicly displaying for about 90 days now, right? Her breakfast and the things that she's been doing, she shares it with social media every day. It's a part of her commitment to making sure that she is doing what's necessary for her body and eating better and making better choices, right? And so, it's incredible that you dropped all of those nuggets on here, because we have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, that the number one, all right, I want everybody to remember this, the number one cause of death is poor diet. That now is the number one cause of early death, okay? The number one cause of early death is your diet. And so when we realize, and now we're sharing all these incredible nuggets, we pray that all of you would grab a hold of this knowledge and realize that that is the number one. It's not smoking. It's not a lack of exercise. It is diet.
Food choices.
Food choices. The food addiction.
But you got to get to that point, guys. And we're going to that's the next segment. You got to get to that point to where you've made a decision, right? And some of the things that are very practical is that Franchon was saying, everybody's telling you, is you have to implement those things. There are no excuses, because excuses are so things like getting. I was in Target the other day, man. They got some super sexy lunch bags in Target. I mean, they make you want to take your lunch to work. They make you want to pack your lunch and take it. Because we're talking about being, trendsetters, doing things that other people aren't doing. And they're like, you know what? She bring her lunch every day, and you may just inspire someone to start doing something different. But if you're going to the machine and you standing in line with your $2, no, it ain't $2 no more, it's $3 to $5 probably the machines cost. You standing in line with your money in your card to get it, then you know better than they are, right? And there's some other things that we can share with you guys. But exercising, high protein, which is the next thing we want to actually talk about right quick. And before we get into our next commercial break, right? Why protein matters, especially during weight loss. Right, I talked about high protein diets. We're throwing a couple of things at you guys: fasting and high protein. fasting and high protein. Your cells need a break. Type 1, type 2, type 3 diabetes, you can overcome it if you start giving your cells a break. Stop eating. It's a trap. They've told you that you got to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You
snack all in between.
And snack. You don't have to. You can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you're eating the good stuff, right? But if you're not, then you need to start by fasting. Fast for 17 hours. Do a 17-hour fast. If you're already doing 14, 17 is not going to kill you, because amazing things happen at 14. Phenomenal things start happening at 17 hours. Are you going to be hungry? Yes.
You are.
You will. And after you come off of that, what do you come off of that with, Pam?
Something very light. You
High protein.
Well,
protein.
You do, but
Yes.
first, in order to break the fast, okay, in order to break the fast, what depends on how you fast. You only like 14 hours.
Thank you, Potter.
I did
Okay,
a
okay.
48-hour fast, and I came off on bone broth
Bone broth and so
then
here's the thing.
protein.
Yeah. So your body, she's right. Break it with something light, bone broth. So you'll be like, bone broth. Now, where do you get bone broth? You know what I'm saying? But you got to have, after that, you have to have healthy fats and protein that you come off.
Yeah,
with.
and that's what it says.
Feed
Pretty
yourself.
much. If you
Okay.
don't like bone broth or anything like
And
that,
exercise.
then the protein
Gotta
is the
exercise,
best.
exercise. Your body, talking about protein, helps control your hunger, which satiates you, which gives your body that satisfaction of feeling like you're full. Those other ultra processed foods, you're not feeling like you're full. That's why you're constantly
Going back in the
eating,
bag,
right?
Back in the box.
right.
They're
Helps control
engineered.
hunger.
It's designed for us to do that.
Right, and keeps your metabolism active. If you're not eating, then your body is storing fat. But after that 14 hours, your body starts to burn the fat. Right? That's why we said 14-hour fast. Really, it starts to burn it a little bit sooner than that. So it's super simple. On the other reason, is start your day with 30 grams of protein for better fat burning. All right.
Did you mention muscle?
Muscle, you're going to build muscle. Absolutely. That's the key. Muscle is the new organ of longevity.
It is.
Right? That's how you grow old gracefully. I've seen so many people on social media. I saw somebody trying to do the scooter thing, and they pushed a little bit and they lost their balance, and it's so crazy because they just started to fall off, and it was a forever fall. They just they didn't have enough body muscle to hold themselves, and it took them 10 minutes to fall. They started here and they was way over there falling. Muscle, the new organ of longevity. Y'all wish it was funny. It is funny, but I'm telling you, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Right? When you get old, when you start getting older, you're gonna want that muscle. All right. Commercial break.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about another
product that will help you to lose the inches and to take off this weight
naturally.
And it's simple.
Losing inches isn't easy, especially around your belly. Visceral fat is the stubborn belly fat that hides your hard-earned abs. This killer fat surrounds our organs, increasing the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes. Now you can give your hips, waist, and abs the advantage your body deserves. Introducing AbVantage, a stimulant-free hip and waist reducer from Colab. The active ingredients are clinically shown to help you burn calories 10 times faster. It works by activating fat-burning cells that target stubborn visceral fat to slim your hips and waist and help reveal your abs. It helps increase your metabolism so you can burn more calories and get leaner faster. Plus, it helps prevent rebound weight gain. Ditch yo-yo dieting. No more hiding in photos. Feel confident about your health. The advantage for slimmer hips and waist and helping reveal those abs is yours. So start taking AbVantage today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that is our latest, hottest product. And we can tell you that with the combination of the two, the Noni and that Advantage, it is truly the epitome of being the game changer for you to be able to take your health and to lose the weight that's necessary so that you are not dealing with that visceral fat, which is known as the killer fat, that fat that wraps around our organs that causes so many different diseases. So as we wrap this thing on tonight, we definitely want to say that if somebody shared this with you, get back with them so that you can definitely get on your health journey and join us in this Move It to Lose It challenge, where we simply want you to move your body every single day, right? And that should be something that we all desire to do. When it comes time to this food addiction, it is real. This is the reason why there is such a health epidemic happening in this world. And you have to understand that it's really not your fault. It really isn't. It's not your fault. The food is designed and engineered to cause you to continue to come back, eat ultra processed food that are dangerous, that are made out of garbage pretty much, but that are addictive. And the reason why people continue to eat them. But you now have some knowledge on tonight. But the greatest thing is not just the knowledge, it's when you apply it, because applied knowledge is the key to true, long-lasting success. So with that being said, I don't know if anybody on here has anything that they want to share and they want to close out. Any last nuggets that you want to close out with on tonight as we end?
I do have one. So, on the journey to being healthy, reading the packages. So if sugar or one of its aliases is in the first 3 ingredients, it's likely a trap.
No,
leave it on the shelf.
Leave it on the shelf. You know what? And I'm glad that you said that. That is so true. So we encourage you all to take time. We challenge you this week to look at the labels. Pay attention to the things that you're putting into your body, or better yet, bringing into your household, especially when we have children, because there's a reason why over 50% of our children are obese. So as parents, we need to start to pay attention to the labels. So we challenge all of you to pay attention to the labels and the foods that are coming into your household. And you know what? Just stop buying. Right? Gradually pull back if you need to. But remember, they're addictive and it's going to be hard to quit. That's the reason why every time Nate and I find out something, we just cold turkey stop it. It just doesn't come back into the household. And it is what it is. All right. Anybody else on here tonight want to say something?
Twayla Bobby.
Twayla Bobby.
I'm going to piggyback off Franshawn. If you can't pronounce it, don't buy it.
I know that's
Right.
Just a little quick tip as far as sugar is concerned. God's sugar is wrapped in fiber. Apple, pears, peaches, wrapped in fiber. The moment that we take the fiber away, and I learned something one night in one of our team trainings from Coach Nate. I had no clue, because over the years I had put a whole bunch of fruit together and throw it in a blender, and the next thing you know, I'm thinking I'm drinking something healthy. And what I didn't realize is that you increase the sugar load once you take the fiber away and you start blending it all together. So understand, God's sugar is wrapped in fiber. If you can keep that in mind, then it'll make you a little bit more cognizant of the sugars that you put in your body.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff.
Love it. You just messed them up with that one, Bobby.
Right.
You mean I can't drink smoothies anymore? I can't do like, oh my God, I can't do nothing. Right. Eat your fruit whole. That's what Bobby said.
Eat it whole. All right. How about you, Valerie?
Yeah, and I always remind myself that I'm eating to live and not living to eat, and to always think of, I guess, to pause sometimes, because a lot of times you eat because you're out of habit and you're not really hungry. So that's one thing. Just slow down.
Wow. Slow down. There you go. So those are some tips and some nuggets for this week. So you got one thing. What did we say? First and foremost, get back with the person who invited you on here, share this with you. get healthy with us. All right.
I wanted to show
And
y'all
move
this
your
picture.
body.
I wanted to show y'all the picture of my daughter.
Hold on one second.
Go ahead.
All right. And then the second thing, right? Got three things. All right. The second thing is to pay attention to labels, right? But the third thing that we want you all to do is to identify 2 to 3 food habits that you have that are not that's holding you back towards your goal, right? And put forth that effort to replace them. All right. So what we got on here? Look at baby girl.
So this
That's
is
a
a
picture
picture
or a
of,
video.
this is a picture that she took of herself in the bathroom, and she over there talking trash about me right now, right? But I want y'all to, I would bring up the other picture before picture, but I don't want her to really get me. I may show that to y'all next week, right? But this young lady is so committed to her health and her fitness. She didn't start off like this. We watched her transform. How did she do it? Yeah, she works out, but her diet, she doesn't eat any, we call it peasant food. She eats no peasant food, right? All she eats is high protein, right? That she eats meats, right? Chicken, she eats beef, and she supplements whatever she can't get in her food. So, and this has been what? How long did it take her to achieve this? Maybe 6 months.
Mhm.
I mean, just maybe even less. But I just wanted to show that, brag a little bit because, she actually is very committed to what she's doing. And when you're committed, guys, you get the results. And that's just point blank, period. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to show y'all that. I'll let her get me later. Right now, she over there eating strawberries and what is that? Greek yogurt and strawberries, y'all. Greek yogurt and strawberries. Probiotic and fruit, a whole fruit.
Right.
All right, y'all. We're going to close this thing down. God bless y'all. We'll see y'all next week. We'll talk about another hard-hitting topic. Don't miss it. Look for it on social media. We'll tell you guys what it's going to be. God bless y'all.
Blessings. Good night, everybody.